Boys, we need to talk about last word. I bring this up because the last word, depending on your input, got better in update 2.8.0, which was when Season of the Worthy actually launched. It had all these things right here, which really was supposed to be a nerf. Turned out, it was very much a buff for my controller users. The weapon became more stable in its hipfire form, more consistent, damn near auto-aimed in the hands of a controller user. Now granted, it was pretty much poop for mouse and keyboard users. You could use it, but there was a level of difficulty there that just wasn't worth it for a mouse and keyboard user. Now back in 2.8.0, I liked last word when I would use a controller, but I noticed something. There were times where the weapon would blank, most notably if I was in the air. That's right, inner accuracy on last word seemed to be extremely poor, and it could have been the combination of trying to land hipfire shots while in the air. Maybe that's just a more difficult thing to do. I know some people say try with line rampants. We did. It was nice, but I'm here to say, guys, in this new sandbox, update 2.9.0, last word has gotten even nastier. And it starts with the trait Hipfire Grip. Now, Hipfire Grip got all these crazy things done to it. 1.2 times aim assist fall off, an extra plus 15 in aim assist, 1.7 degrees precision hipfire angle threshold. What the hell does all of that even mean? Essentially what it boils down to, guys, is your reticle doesn't even have to really be on target. You can see here from this knight that just kind of being in the general direction when firing from the hip with last word results in those shots landing. Oh, and precision shots at that. It's kind of nuts. What's even more nuts is as you land shot after shot from the hip, of course, fan fire is taking effect. And with each stack, you gain a combination of increased reload speed as well as accuracy. This change to hipfire grip, which is one I think Bungie wanted to introduce, not just for the benefit of last word, but for anything. Hipfire grip is definitely not a trait that many of us are like, oh yes, I got a fusion rifle with hipfire grip. Hell yeah! No one's really that excited about it. Until now. I gotta say, guys, I've actually used a few weapons with the new and improved hipfire grip trait, and by God, it works well. And here on last word, it's turned a gun that was already cracked. Now it's just, well, it's almost broken, you know? I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They're like, whoa, whoa, hey, ease up, man. Start talking that lingo, next thing you know, we're in the last word nerf. And you're right. I know we just dealt with the last word nerf. But let me give you the scenario that you're seeing in front of you. The gameplay that you're seeing in front of you is someone that hasn't used controller in a very long time. By the way, it's actually my scuff controller that my son has been using to play Minecraft. He's pretty much completely broken the left joystick, and the right joystick has got some drift, which is why you're going to occasionally see some drift to the left there. Despite these factors, when a target would come into sight, last word would intrinsically activate its perfect aim and proceed to gun down anyone in front of us. All right, so that's the scenario, okay? We're not even talking about people that probably live and breathe by last word. And if you happen to do that, by God, I can only imagine in the hands of a controller user, last word will absolutely pop off. And again, this is on PC against mouse and keyboard users, and last word doesn't give a damn. It really doesn't. Now that that's out of the way, how does it perform for mouse and keyboard users? Well, here's the thing. It is a tad bit more consistent. But you know how a second ago I said last word in the previous sandbox, even while using a controller, really required me to keep my nuts on the ground and not jump whatsoever, as the weapon just had piss poor inner accuracy. Now the weapon seems to have very good inner accuracy, even for controller users while in the air, but for mouse and keyboard users, there are times where the gun is just not nearly as accurate. Not saying you can't be accurate with mouse and keyboard, it's just nowhere near on the same level as controller, okay? You pick up last word, you try it out with mouse and keyboard, you're like, all right, yeah, it's not bad. Then I proceed to go over there, plug in a weak controller and hand it to you, then all of a sudden you're gonna have the fingers of God, okay? The aiming capabilities of Shroud. Suddenly, you never miss. And there's something addictive about it, almost in a scary sense. But the moment you go that route with last word, it's hard going back. There are going to be some people out there that are using mouse and keyboard. They're going to be like, yo, I like a challenge. I want to use mouse and keyboard with last word. And I like those people. Hey, that's great. Self-improvement is always something we must strive for. But I dare that person to try it out with controller just once. Just try it out just once and you'll turn them. Maybe not for every weapon in the game. Obviously not. especially if they're a dedicated mouse and keyboard user. But just know, if you ever see me using a last word in the wild, 9 times out of 10, unless it's for this review right here, I'm using a controller. So whatever benefits that Bungie was hoping to introduce to maybe pick up last word usage for mouse and keyboard users, to me it just solidified controller usage even more. It just made it even deadlier, especially with the default plus 15 aim assist. Everything here really just screams beneficial to controller users, not that mouse and keyboard users don't see some benefit out of it. Just know, guys, in this sandbox, last word is a hell of an option. And we actually sit down and break down time to kill of last word. And by the way, don't aim down sights. You probably noticed that I'm never aiming down sights. The weapon's damage is not good when you aim down sights. It actually drops it. You hit 68.27 per crit while shooting from the hip. But the moment you actually aim down sights, 2 things happen. Number 1, your damage drops pretty significantly, going to 52.2. The second thing that happens, even with mouse and keyboard usage, the recoil of last word is unbearable. I can only imagine what it's like for someone on console with their field of view and their frame rate to aim down sights and shoot with the last word. Not saying they can't do it, but it was jarring to say the least. It's obvious that last word here is supposed to be used in its hip fire form. It's the inner cowboy, okay? And I'm down with that. I love that identity. Just know, never aim down sights with last word if you can avoid it. And even when we sat down and actually checked damage fall off, 19 meters is what the weapon can reach up to, which doesn't seem that far, but 19 meters, everything below that threshold. Last word's able to kill in 0.53 seconds from 3 crits. But hey man, maybe you mess up. Maybe you gotta kill somebody in 4 shots instead of 3. You're still looking at a 0.8 second time to kill value. Last word also has an effect on PC, which I like to call the Houdini effect, okay? The Houdini effect is when you're actually in a gunfight with someone and you have a timetable in your head of your health pool, right? You're like, okay, he got a shot off, I got a shot off, he got another shot off. I have a general idea of where my health is and when I'm truly in danger and when I should get out. The Houdini effect, though, does something really magical. Essentially, your threat detector is completely eliminated. You just die. I mean, that's pretty much what happens. You're looking at your health, you think you're good, and next thing you know, it's gone. And gunfight after gunfight, you even look back and you go, at what point was I truly in danger? And the answer keeps coming back the entire time. You were in danger before the gunfight even took place, man. And it's happened so many times. I play mouse and keyboard on PC, naturally. And every now and then I come across a last word user playing on controller, and they hit me with the Houdini effect. And it is quite annoying, okay? Turns out, one of the only ways to deal with the Houdini effect is to Houdini himself. Yeah, certain weapons can do it better than others. Most notably, 600 round per minute auto rifles. You got a good Gilliard, Service Regime, another exotic that I'm not gonna give away because we're re-reviewing it tomorrow. Really what it boils down to, guys, is when we start to reach time to kill values of 0.7 and less, it's not that it's difficult for us to register in our minds what the threat level is. We're just not used to it. Last word with that 0.53 second time to kill value at 3 crits is not something we're used to. But since these improvements, I gotta say, fellas, you better get used to it. For my console users, I'm really curious to know how last word is performing for you. I have no idea how this gun is shaking out over there. I feel like it would do well, but I could be wrong. I was expecting to see more last word usage in the previous sandbox on console, and you saw way more people still using auto rifles. And I get it, auto rifles, especially 600s, are extremely deadly. But I even saw certain people completely replacing their last words and using things like sidearms. Drain has become an extremely popular option over on console. Players like Grenader Jake uses it every weekend alongside Arbalest. It really makes me wonder how the new exotic sidearm is going to be received, as it's also in that same archetype as Drain, but it comes with 82 range. So even though last word is very, very good, super consistent in the hands of a controller user, slightly better for mouse and keyboard users with the improvements to hipfire grip, even though it reps one of the best time to kills in the game, it's got competition on every front. And one thing I noticed yesterday while using last word, I wasn't necessarily annoyed with other primary weapons. I was more annoyed with Antaeus Ward's and Fellwinter's Light. I know, I use it too, man. I use it in trials every weekend. It's a good combo. You got a shotgun that can pretty much snipe, and you got invincibility every time you snipe. But that was probably the most annoying factor while using last word yesterday. So just because I say that this gun is extremely good. By no means do I want to see this gun nerfed. I do believe, however, that Last Word has become more of a controller user weapon and may even stay that way. And understand, Last Word was extremely dominant for mouse and keyboard users for the first year of its life. So it's like Bungie has essentially passed the totem. So let me know what you think about Last Word. Are you enjoying the changes? We've got a lot of weapons to review, as well as another exotic that has snuck into the meta. We'll see you in the next one. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.